Hi everyone, my name is Miss Alex and I work at the Bala Cynwyd Library. Today I'm going to give you some tips and tricks about growing succulents and taking care of succulents at home. You can purchase them online from a number of different retailers and they will send them directly to your house. Hardware stores, local nurseries, Amazon, and even Etsy are good places to look. I have ordered a number of succulents online before, and they do generally arrive in pretty good shape, so that's not something you would have to worry about. So some examples of succulents from my own collection, so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about if you aren't familiar. This one is aloe. Here's another one. So they come in all different varieties. They also come from parts of the world with dry tropical and semi-tropical climates. So they are pretty easy to grow virtually anywhere, especially indoors. You do want to make sure that your succulents get at least 6 hours of sunlight every day. I keep my succulents right next to the window so they do get that sunlight. Another thing you want to do is, in order to prevent just one side of the succulent getting all of the light, you'll want to rotate them frequently. If you don't rotate them, the succulent does tend to grow towards the sun, so it will grow a little lopsided. If you rotate them, it will grow straighter. So I haven't been as good about rotating them as I should be, and so you can see how this one is growing towards the side. When I put them back, I'm gonna put this one so that it faces the sun like this, so hopefully it will grow a little bit straighter. The next thing you're gonna want to make sure is that you have a container with drainage holes at the bottom. So here's a good example of that. The brown terracotta pots always have drainage, so they're a good place to start as well. Succulents don't like to sit in waterlogged soil, so drainage is important in order to prevent them from rotting. And you do want to water them according to the season. So in the spring and summer, they will need more water because that's the growing season. In the fall and winter, they're kind of taking a rest. They're not growing as much. One way to know if you should water them is by actually touching the soil, and if about 1.25 inches is dry, then you want to give them more water. You do want to make sure that in between waterings the soil is completely dry because, like I said before, if they sit in waterlogged soil or if you overwater them, they will die. Another thing you can do is you can get a tray to put under your container, and you can fill up the tray itself with water. And since your container will have drainage holes, the succulent will suck up the water from the tray through their roots. And that's a good way of making sure they do get water without overwatering them. Another tip for watering your succulent is that you want to water the soil directly. I know some people think that because they don't like a whole lot of water, they should use a spray bottle or a mister. That's actually not good because it doesn't get to the roots. And the roots are what really needs the water. So just water the soil directly. Don't worry about spraying or misting them. So after you have your container with drainage holes, you are going to want to make sure you get the correct soil. Like I said before, they don't like waterlogged soil, so you want a soil that will allow more drainage. You don't want to use soil from your backyard and you don't want to use regular potting soil. They do have a specific type of soil that you can buy for succulents and cacti, and that's a really good way to make sure that your soil has enough drainage. If you can't find that, or if you do already have potting soil at home, you can make your own succulent soil by mixing that with sand, pumice, or perlite, which is those little white balls that's in soil sometimes. Another thing you can do if your soil and your container doesn't have a whole lot of drainage is that you can put some stones or pebbles on the top of the soil. It looks nice, and it also allows the water to drain and to also prevent the soil from getting too moist. And when you are putting your plant in new soil, be careful with the roots. They are very gentle. Another thing you can do once you have your succulent plant all potted is in the spring and summer, you can give them a little bit of fertilizer. They don't need fertilizer, and if they have too much fertilizer, they can grow too much and then they won't be strong. So if you want to, in the growing seasons, you can just give them a little bit of fertilizer, but you don't need to. So after that, you'll have your succulent plant look something like this. Maybe you'll have a bigger planter with a bunch of succulents in them. This guy has a couple. You'll want to put them near the sun. You'll want to monitor the soil and make sure you're not overwatering them, but they are getting enough water. And if you're doing all that, you should have some nice, healthy, and successful succulent plants. So thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a lot. And I hope that you will enjoy succulents as much as I do. Thank you.